Tonight, a June swoon on Wall Street. Stock prices plummet as new numbers have investors fearing an economic slowdown. I'm Harry Smith. Also tonight, Gaddafi's last chance. The Libyan dictator insists he's staying put, but NATO's already planning new air assaults. The congressman and the co-ed, the tweet, the talk, the questions.
At some point, the questions can get more and more and more invasive and bizarre.
And an American hero. He picked up a live enemy grenade, risking his life to save his comrades.
This is the CBS Evening News.
Good evening. We begin tonight with late-breaking news. A new batch of violent storms, including tornadoes, that struck late this afternoon, this time in western Massachusetts. At least one twister hit downtown Springfield and tore through the city, kicking up a massive cloud of debris. Vehicles were flipped over, buildings damaged, and area hospitals are reporting multiple injuries and people waiting to be treated. Amateur video captured the moment of impact.
The ceiling, look. Oh my God.
Another tornado struck Westfield, Mass. Before the line of storms raced across the state during the evening rush hour. Michelle Miller has more on the bizarre weather.
It began slowly churning over the Connecticut River, winding itself up into a fury, picking up branches, debris. Some drivers caught inside its wind shear feared they were next.
Ceiling, look. Oh my God.
This isn't the wide open plains of Missouri or Alabama, but the rolling hills of Springfield, Massachusetts, one of the biggest cities in the state. Meteorologists say the perfect conditions primed New England for a tornado.
Boy, it was the clash of hot and cold air, and it has been hot in the Northeast.
Property damage is in the thousands. Dozens have been injured, and at least 4 people are dead. Another tornado in Westfield tore off the roof of this elementary school.
I was crying. Everyone was crying. People were screaming. People were puking. It was just disaster. It was very terrifying.
Utilities are reporting thousands of customers without power. The city has requested help from the National Guard.
We want to get good information, and that is the biggest challenge at in any emergency, and we have that challenge right now.
Michelle Miller, CBS News, New York.
The economic recovery in this country has been so fragile, any hint it may be in jeopardy can send Wall Street investors running for the doors. That's what happened today. Negative economic reports led to a sell-off in the stock market. And by the close of trading, the Dow had lost nearly 280 points, or about 2.25%. That's the biggest loss since last summer, and reason to call in our senior business correspondent, Anthony Mason. Anthony, good to have you here. What exactly got the market so rattled today?
Well, the catalyst, Harry, was a dismal monthly jobs report from ADP. That's a payroll processing firm. That report said only 38,000 private sector jobs were added in May. That's less than a quarter of the 175,000 economists had predicted. At the same time, a key manufacturing survey showed a sharp slowdown in orders to factories. Now, that's worrisome because it's manufacturing, of course, Harry, that's been leading the recovery.
Do all of these indicators look to a slowing recovery?
Well, if you look at the lousy housing numbers we had yesterday and add them in, it does suggest the economy appears to have hit another soft patch. That's certainly the fear on Wall Street, where the Dow had its worst one-day point drop in a year. The next key barometer coming up is the government's unemployment report on Friday. But after today's job number was so bad, economists were scrambling to downgrade their forecast for that. Some cut their estimates for May job growth literally in half. Harry?
Anthony Mason, thanks. One industry that is creating jobs is the auto industry. Detroit's Big Three reported their latest sales numbers today. They were pretty flat in May. The car makers are making a comeback, but it is a long way to total recovery. Here's Dean Reynolds.
On the surface, the U.S. auto industry appears to have turned a corner. Ford is thriving. Chrysler and General Motors are out of bankruptcy and showing off lines of popular new models since being bailed out by the federal government. The industry is reacting as though the May sales numbers, which showed a slight cooling in the car market, are just a blip on a rosy horizon.
Based on what we're seeing right now, the overall industry, even with higher gas prices, is continuing to show strength.
Indeed, a bullish GM is now investing $2 billion in 17 facilities across 8 states and creating or restoring 4,000 jobs. Ford will add more than 7,000 jobs this year and next. Chrysler has pumped $3 billion into facility upgrades. In California, one of the larger suppliers of new car wheels to the Big Three echoes the good word.
Over the last year, we've hired 600 or 800 new employees, and we're probably looking at least another 200 to 300 that we'll hire in over the next ensuing 12 months.
But it's not all good news. Only a third of the 3,000 people he laid off during the recession are back. An example of a troubling number that punctures talk of a real recovery. Consider that of the 331,000 auto industry jobs lost during the recession, only 76,000 have returned. In the dark recesses of Bob Fricano's Chicago auto supply business, there is no talk of turning the corner.
Do you face the prospect of layoffs?
It could be a possibility of going out of business.
Bob's business is down 15% from a year ago, 30% from 2 years ago.
Fricano's business employs 5 workers. He says for all the happy talk from Detroit, the sputtering U.S. economy is forcing cutbacks.
You cut yourself.
My salary's gone down and my bank account's gone down too.
The benefits at the top have yet to reach him. Dean Reynolds, CBS News, Chicago.
NATO said today it is extending the military campaign in Libya for another 3 months and already planning to step up air attacks. All this would end if Muammar Gaddafi agreed to leave. But earlier this week in Tripoli, he told South Africa's president he's not going anywhere. More on that from Alan Pizzi in the Libyan capital.
The peace mission of South African President Jacob Zuma was more than a reprise of the one that failed in mid-April. This time, Zuma brought Muammar Gaddafi a clear offer. Step down and we'll find you and your family a safe haven somewhere in Africa. A senior South African government official told CBS News that Zuma also promised Gaddafi protection from prosecution by the International Criminal Court. Gaddafi's response? Libya is under attack by Western imperialists who want its oil, and if he leaves, there will be chaos. Zuma reportedly left Gaddafi with a cautionary note that if he does not respond positively within a few days, NATO will come after him with a vengeance, which the announcement of the extension of its mission backs up.
This decision sends a clear message to the Gaddafi regime. We are determined to continue our operation to protect the people of Libya.
A well-placed source within NATO said the alliance is planning and budgeting to keep the air campaign going for up to a year if necessary. And even Gaddafi's old ally Russia has joined the West in calling for him to step down. Gaddafi was described by one of the South African delegation as giving the impression of not being in total control of his faculties, and his official spokesman is maintaining a hard line.
They do not understand that we are here to stay and fight, and we will never give in.
But the regime's problems just keep growing. Most of what is on sale in this market is imported, and the UN is already warning that the air and sea blockade is beginning to bite.
The food and the medical supplies is a little bit like a time bomb. The moment is under control and it's okay, but if this goes for quite some time, we are concerned that this will become a major issue.
But given that Gaddafi seems to believe his own propaganda and sent Zuma away empty-handed, the time bomb is ticking on all counts. Alan Pizzi, CBS News, Tripoli.
In this country, federal safety officials are calling for greater authority over commercial bus lines 1 day after a deadly crash. 4 people were killed yesterday when a Sky Express bus flipped over on I-95 in Virginia. Police say driver fatigue may be to blame. Sky Express, which has a long history of safety violations, was shut down last night. Transportation officials say they would have done it sooner, but federal regulations got in the way.
We're going to work with Congress to give us the kind of teeth in the law that if we find a company that's not operating properly, that we can shut it down immediately and they don't get a 45-day grace period, that if we inspect them and they're not safe, they're not going to operate.
The driver in yesterday's crash has been charged with reckless driving. It may sound like an innocuous prank, but for a pilot, few things are as dangerous as someone shining a laser light at the cockpit. Reports of people pointing lasers at aircraft are on the increase, and now the federal government is cracking down. And as Bill Whitaker tells us, pilots say it's about time.
As chief pilot of the Burbank and Glendale police departments in Southern California, it's Sergeant Steve Robertson's job to fly into danger. But increasingly, he's facing a danger many fear could cause a crash. Powerful, handheld green laser lights blasted into cockpits from the ground.
Very painful.
One laser beam nearly blinded Robertson. His co-pilot had to take control.
It felt like getting hit in the head with a baseball bat. It actually burned both of my corneas to the point where they had to scrape the top layers of my eyes off.
It's not just small craft, but airliners too. This cockpit recording is from a Southwest flight taking off from San Jose.
I just saw a big flash out the window, and the captain saw green light inside the cockpit.
Today, the FAA announced it would slap fines up to $11,000 on anyone caught flashing a laser at an aircraft.
It's every bit as serious as a physical action on board the airplane. It jeopardizes the pilots and their passengers.
The problem isn't weak red lasers used in PowerPoint presentations, but powerful green lasers. Their legal power limit in public is 5 milliwatts, but a quick search of the internet finds much more powerful ones for just $13, strong enough to distract and disorient pilots 1,000 feet up or higher. It's most dangerous during takeoffs and landings.
These times are the busiest and most critical phases of flight for pilots.
The number of reported laser aircraft incidents is really taking off. There were 2,836 last year, almost twice the number in 2009, nearly 10 times more than in 2005. Where's the problem greatest? Phoenix and San Jose reported 80 incidents last year, Chicago 98. LAX had 102. In all of LA's airports, there were 201 reported laser incidents last year.
It's just a matter of time before we have a catastrophic event or, God forbid, an accident.
There have been no deadly incidents so far. The FAA hopes today's action will keep it that way. Bill Whitaker, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Coming up next on the CBS Evening News, the strange case of the congressman and the Twitter photo. And later, the videos that are helping terminal patients make choices about medical care in their final days. It started out with a photograph on a congressman's Twitter account, and now the story has gone absolutely viral on media of every kind. Democratic Congressman Anthony Weiner of New York denied today that he sent a lewd photograph to a 21-year-old college student in Seattle. Congressional correspondent Nancy Cordes has the story.
I didn't send it.
Congressman Anthony Weiner was adamant today. He did not tweet this suggestive photo of a man in gray underwear. But he was far less clear about the origins of the photo, sent from his Twitter account Friday night.
Congressman, I think the main question that everyone has is, was that a picture of you?
Well, the main question that a lot of people are asking is, did I send the photograph? I did not. This was a prank, a hoax.
So it sounds like it was a photo of you.
Well, we're going to try to find out exactly what happened. The photograph does not look familiar to me, but before I say anything, I want to make sure that nothing was manipulated about it, that it wasn't taken, that something wasn't dropped into my account.
I think any normal person could say with certainty whether a picture was a photo of them or not, whether they had taken a photo
well,
like
that. Jon Stewart might have had it right last night that it didn't look like me for embarrassing reasons.
As a comedian, this is a slam dunk. Weiner name, Weiner picture, where's my check?
But it was the late-night mockery and testy exchanges with reporters
I'm not going to talk about this anymore.
That convinced Weiner to reverse his pledge not to discuss the matter.
Do you think you know who did it?
I don't know. I do have someone that I've asked who are professionals to come in who look at this kind of stuff for big firms.
But many have questioned why the liberal New Yorker, who has called for tougher cybersecurity laws, did not ask Capitol Police or the FBI to look into it.
I don't believe this is a capital crime. I believe this is a bit of mischief. And I'm treating it that way.
But it's causing more than mischief for you now.
It's causing more mischief, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I ask the taxpayers of the United States of America to undergo a big investigation on who posted a silly picture on my Twitter page.
Congressman Weiner is now asking for privacy, and so is the woman the tweet was addressed to. She has taken to, of all places, Twitter, to insist the two of them had absolutely no relationship. Harry?
Nancy Cordes in Washington tonight. Thanks. Big news in sports today. Basketball Shaquille O'Neal is retiring. He made the announcement today in an online video. The 15-time All-Star center won 4 championships in 19 seasons. A big man with a bigger-than-life personality. Shaquille O'Neal's size 23 sneakers have left an impressive footprint on the game. Coming up next, the videos that are helping patients make one of the toughest decisions of their lives. There is nothing more we can do. They are the hardest words a terminally ill patient can hear, and some of the most difficult any doctor can say. Now, Dr. John LaPook tells us a new tool is helping patients and doctors make decisions about end-of-life care. John, good evening.
Good evening, Harry. This is one of the toughest issues confronting our healthcare system. 25% of all Medicare spending, more than $100 billion, occurs in the last year of life, in part because patients get aggressive and expensive treatments that don't work.
Give Mommy kisses. Oh, this is a card from my son, Henry.
53-year-old Bernadette Wilson treasures each moment with her family, now more than ever.
He actually came to me and said, Miss Wilson, it's cancer. And I said, you got to be kidding me.
It's a brutal moment that takes your breath away, doesn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It feels like the ground falls out from under you.
Diagnosed with advanced pancreatic cancer, Wilson is now talking to her doctors about her final days, which is difficult for them as well.
It's relatively easy to formulate a treatment plan and discuss that and focus on that. It's much harder to, again, discuss the limitations of our therapies and the fact that we're all going to die.
To make this painful discussion easier, doctors showed her this video.
Because you have an illness that cannot be cured.
Now being used across the country in 15 healthcare systems to give patients more information about what really happens in the final days of an illness.
Videos help to broach a difficult topic and to make it more real and less abstract for patients and their loved ones.
Most of the time in patients with advanced cancer, CPR does not work.
The videos cover a variety of illnesses: cancer, heart disease, dementia. There are typically 3 options. The first, prolong life at any cost, including breathing tubes and CPR. The second offers only medical treatment, like chemotherapy and antibiotics. Finally, there's comfort care, which may include medical treatment, but which focuses on relieving suffering.
Pressing on your chest.
For Bernadette Wilson, the videos were an eye-opener about 2 aggressive procedures.
CPR and putting on a breathing machine. It doesn't work for cancer patients.
What did you think before you saw the tapes?
That it probably would work.
What did you tell the doctors?
That I don't want to be resuscitated. When I saw that gentleman laying there on that ventilator, that was difficult. You know, I wouldn't want that for me or anyone else.
Studies show that most patients who watch these videos change their minds about what they want and choose less aggressive care. Harry?
Why does it seem to be so difficult for doctors?
Harry, when a patient comes to you and says, Doc, I'm going to beat this, and part of you agrees with them or wants to agree with them, it's hard to start that conversation. And I have made the mistake in my very own practice of delaying that conversation too long and watching one of my patients needlessly suffer at the end of their life because I wasn't able to properly coordinate end-of-life care. So yes, it's a tough conversation, but we owe it to our patients to have it.
John LaPook, thanks so much. When we come back, the heroic act of an Army Ranger who's about to be awarded the nation's highest military honor. Finally tonight, the term hero is used so often we can forget what a hero really is. Then along comes someone to remind us. An Army Ranger who served 8 tours in Iraq and Afghanistan is about to be awarded the Medal of Honor, only the second living recipient since Vietnam. David Martin at the Pentagon tells his story.
Sergeant Leroy Petrie, a kid who nearly flunked out of high school, became a man who gave his right hand to save his fellow Army Rangers. It happened 3 years ago, almost to the day, on a raid in Afghanistan. As Petrie stormed into a courtyard, he was hit by a bullet which went through both legs. He and 2 other Rangers took cover behind a chicken coop. A grenade knocked all three to the ground. A second grenade probably would have killed or seriously injured them, but the wounded Petrie grabbed it and threw it back. Just after he released it, the grenade detonated, blowing away his right hand. Still, Petrie had the presence of mind to apply his own tourniquet. Petrie, who has spent most of the last 10 years operating in the secrecy of special operations, did not want to be interviewed. So we will let a Medal of Honor recipient from Vietnam speak for him.
I doubt that there's one Medal of Honor recipient who would say he was doing anything other than his job. And at the time, didn't say, oh, this is dangerous. Was just doing what was required.
The Medal of Honor puts it a little differently. For conspicuous bravery above and beyond the call of duty. David Martin, CBS News, the Pentagon.
Sergeant Petrie is still in uniform and provides assistance to other wounded warriors. That's the CBS Evening News. I'm Harry Smith. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow night.